Hey everyone, Dr. Frunkey here with a really special knife consult for you on the CMF Metalworks Crusade V2. If you go back on my channel, I've had a few knives from my good buddy Ian Pekarsky, who goes by CMF Metalworks. I've had maybe 4 of his knives on my channel. I've owned the Timascus scalpel that he made for me, and he's just an all-around great guy, and I'm very thankful to him and to this knife's happy owner, Brandon, who let me borrow this knife for a overview / review of the Crusade V2. So the very first video of Ian's work that I ever published on the channel was of the Crusade V1. It was very similar to this knife, but he has refined the knife over time. If you go back to that video, you'll see that that was knife number 3, Crusade number 3. In between that knife and now, he's made over 100 more knives. And so this is actually Crusade V2 number 3. So it's interesting to me that I've now had the third serial numbered version of each of the Crusade runs here. And so I'm happy to show this to you guys, and I'm very, very interested to see how he's progressed, and I've certainly been impressed with what I've seen in this knife. I've had this knife with me for a little over a week now, and so I've gathered my thoughts, and I'm very happy to present this to you. So let's get some vital signs on this guy before we go any further here. Right up front, you're going to see that we're getting about 3.5 inches of overall blade length, about 4 inches to the pivot, 8 inches of overall length right there. You're getting about 4.6 inches of handle length with a regular grip area of 4 inches, but if you include this massive forward choil, you're getting 5.4 inches of overall grip area. The handle is going to be coming in at just over ½ inch, about 0.55, and the blade stock is 187 thousandths at its widest point. So a rather thick and bulky blade stock, but beautifully hollow ground, and we'll talk about that as we get to it. So let me bring out another couple of knives for a size comparison here. This is a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And here is a Spyderco Para 3. So you'll see that the Crusade V2 here definitely has a more EDC style bend to it. He's thinned it out a little bit. He's contoured it a little bit differently. It's got the same overall length, but it's just a bit sleeker in overall carryability in the pocket and in the hand, and it's very, very nice. It fits in between these two knives, certainly trending more towards the size of the Para 2 right there. I'll bring out another couple of high-end knives that you might recognize. Here is a Shirogorov F3, and then a Koenig Knives Arius right here. So you'll see that it's smaller than either of these knives. Ian is known for making very large, very robust, and sometimes a bit oversized knives, and I'm liking that he's going with a smaller, more sleek version. As a matter of fact, he's making a mini version of this knife that's going to soon be available on Blade HQ, so keep an eye out for that. He's made a few of those now. There is going to be one for sale on Blade HQ very soon at maker's price, and so that'll be very nice. We clean off the blade so that we can break this knife down anatomically and get some beautiful shots of this gorgeous blade of CTS XHP. There's a lot of light in the room because I want to show off the beautiful satin grinds that he's achieved here. One of the complaints that I had on the very early models were the asymmetry of the grinds, but he has perfected his grinding techniques, and I will tell you that everything matches up as if a machine had done this, and it's very, very nicely done. This is a tuned up version of his original grind. You'll see there are 2 hollow grinds, one on the primary large bevel there and one on the top swedge leading out to the tip, and that makes a almost sharpened top of the blade right here. It's not sharp, and you can put your fingers on it. It's not uncomfortable, but it's very cool looking. It certainly makes for a unique style tip. As you come out here, there is a very sharpened tip right there, and then there's an interesting forward grind as it leads out there, and so it's just a beautiful thing. This is a large recurve type of drop point, harpoon sort of modified blade. I don't even know what to really call it, but it is absolutely beautiful. If there's one thing that Ian does well, it's that he grinds a beautiful, beautiful blade. And I do appreciate that the sort of flat area here has been minimized a little bit more. It doesn't seem like wasted real estate like on the other one, and it's beautifully done, and a hand-rubbed horizontal satin, so beautifully done. Let's go ahead and move back to the pivot and deployment. This thing is running on a ball bearing pivot. There is an internal stop pin in there, and it is incredibly smooth. It is running with a flipper deployment only. This is a very small flipper tab. This is something I wanted to highlight on this knife, is the beauty and the simplicity and the overall aesthetic of his new flipper tab thought process here. He says he does not want to make any more flipper tabs that protrude more than an eighth of an inch out from the back of the scales. He says that he sort of adopted Stan Wilson's philosophy on flipper tabs, being that they are sort of a nuisance and sort of in the way and imperfect things, so to minimize them is a good thing. And it's very nicely done. He's integrated it beautifully into the curves of the knife here. I think it just really flows very well, and to be honest, it works very well. It's quite comfortable on the finger, and it just flies out. That's because he set a very nice detent for this, and the blade just flies out. And as you can see, the drop shut nature of this knife is unbelievable. Now, you saw a little bouncy bounce similar to a Norseman. I complained about that in the Norseman because it would bounce out and then stay out. This one bounces and then drops back in because it's that smooth. This is the smoothest action maybe I felt on almost any ball bearing flipper. So incredibly done there. And it is on center, and it is not loose at all. So that is not just a wobbly knife. That is just his ability to get things flat and get things tuned up quite nicely. So very nicely done there, Ian. Right here you can see this is sort of a user EDC style knife with the pivot finishes here. There is an implanted or a pressed in piece of micarta in there with a titanium pivot that's done in blue with a gold pivot collar. Here you can see a blue titanium screw with another gold collar. Let's move back to the handles and talk about these. Again, this is done in an EDC finish, so you see some stonewashed titanium here done in some very nicely contoured styles. I love the way that the lines flow. Everything there doesn't seem to be a straight line on this handle anywhere. There's a straight line on the blade here and there, but on the handle everything is so flowing and quite nice. There's the lock bar, so that's, you know, ruining my speech right there. Anyways, the contouring is quite nice, very, very comfortable in the hand. As you can see, it fills my large to extra large hand quite well. My finger can creep up into that forward choil for some nice controlled cutting right there, and it feels great. It just feels really nice in the hand, very confident in the hand, and I like that very much. Looking here at some of the nicer pieces on here, this has a Zircuti clip going on right here. It's done in a lighter finish. It's a little bit hard to capture what this looks like on camera. Let me wipe this off a bit to get some of the oils off. Really, really nicely done. There's a strip of zirconium coming right down the middle with those layers of titanium. And then the back spacer, I'll wipe this off as well, is done in an absolutely mesmerizing mosaic Damascus, or Timascus, I should say. And just really, really beautiful. I just want to show that off. This reminds me a bit of the Sergei Rogovets knives and how perfectly done the backspacer is and its jeweled nature. You know, he was a jeweler by trade, and you know, Ian does similar work in terms of his perfect overall finishes. Now, overall, this knife shows a beautiful evolution of a maker. Everyone should be watching Ian at CMF Metalworks and his progression. He's doing a great job out there. His knives are not going to be to everyone's tastes. I share this knife around with some of my friends and colleagues, and not everyone loves the designs, but I will say Ian makes quite a few designs, and what he's doing is he is evolving his creativity. He is making his knives smaller, more compact, more carry-friendly. He's listened to his buyers and their feedback, and he's using it to make better and better knives. And overall, he's a great guy. And honestly, when we're buying these custom knives, you are buying the maker as much as you're buying the knife. And I can attest, I have met Ian in person. I call him on the phone. He is a good man. He is a good human, and I enjoy supporting people like this. So definitely go and check out his work. He is as good a maker as he is a human being. So definitely go check out his work. You can see him at CMF Metalworks on Instagram. Go ahead and follow me over there at Dr. Frunkey. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave some comments down below and tell me what you think of the upgraded and graduated Crusade version 2 right here. And let's talk to Ian about how awesome his knives are. So thank you guys for watching. And as always, this is Dr. Frunkey saying take care.